Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the thumbnail and the time of the month, this is my TBR for September, so let's get into it. First things first, I usually go through August TBR and we see how I did. I have last month's TBR. I also had Paradise Problem, which I did read. And I had Instance Around the House by Josh Malerman, which I did read. I had Pillow Thoughts, which I finished yesterday. Archie, Volume 4, which I did read. And The Orphan Train. This was a hubby pick, and I DNF'd it. But it counts, so I finished my TBR. I think this is the first time in 2024 that I finished my entire TBR. Going into September, I have 4 mandatory reads, and usually I take 5 turns. So if I could get all 4 of these in during those 5 turns, that would be nice. Let me just tell you about the things that I'm going to be participating in this month. I'm going to link all the creators down below, but the first thing is the spooky seasonal challenge that Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy is hosting. I should have my TBR video up already. I'll link it if I do. If I don't, then give me one more day and it should be out. But if it's up, I'll link it right here. And it's just basically like 8 to 24 or 8 to 22 different prompts depending on how you fill out the board, because you can triple up or quadruple up. I'm crazy, so I'm trying to do 22 books for that challenge. Then I'm doing TBR Knockout. For TBR Knockout, Mel from Completely Melanie, I'll link her channel down below as well. Everyone will be linked down below. She does this reading challenge every year that has 2 different prompts for each month, and you're supposed to read what you already physically own so that you can get your physical TBR down. So the prompts for TBR Knockout this year are to read a book outdoors, or like a book set outdoors. Sorry, I said that completely wrong. And then to read a book that has leaves on the cover. So for the book that is set outside, I'm going to be reading Breathers by S.G. Brown. I borrowed this from my brother-in-law over a month ago, and I haven't even tried to read it because it's a zombie apocalypse with a love story. Or it's a romance during a zombie apocalypse. It's actually a love story between zombies during the zombie apocalypse, and that scares me. However, I have watched Warm Bodies before, and I loved Warm Bodies. It was kind of like funny, but also zombies, and I don't know. George seems to think that I'm going to love this book. He said that he liked it, and I really just need to get it back to him. So I'm going to try and get this on here, plus it works for TBR Knockout, so that's great. And then for Leaves on the Cover, I have The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armas. It has leaves and flowers all around it, so I'm counting it. Then we have Buzzwordathon. And Buzzwordathon is from Books and Lala, Kayla. She does a yearly reading challenge as well. And Hers, you get one prompt. Usually it's either a word or a theme of words that you can use. You can choose to read one book every single month, or you can choose the first week of the month to just read, like, if the book last month in August, the prompt was the word like. If you have a bunch of books with the word like in the title, you could read all of them in that first week of the month and do like a reading blog or talk about it on your blog or just do it for yourself, whatever. So for that, this in September, the prompt or like the theme of words is senses, to do with your senses. So like eyes, nose, mouth, ears, listen, hear, eyesight or see, smell, taste, that kind of thing. I'm kind of in the realm of taste or eat, or for Buzzwordathon, I'm going to be listening to We Ate the Dark by Mallory Pearson, which is a horror novel, which will also count for Covers with Cassidy reading challenge, just saying. And then a bunch of the girls on BookTube are doing Abby Jimenez read-along starting in September. I'll link where I first found it, but there's like 4 or 5 different girls, I think. And I don't know all of them off the top of my head. I think I saw it on Dana Ella's channel. So that's probably what I'm going to link. I'm also going to link the OG like creators of the read-along if I can find them. And I was going to do a read-along of Abby Jimenez in 2025 anyway on my channel, but since they're doing all the legwork and I can just read and be a happy little friend and do the read along with them, I'm gonna try and get The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez on my TBR because I love everything Abby Jimenez has ever written so far. And I'm very excited for this read along. Girl 1 is a horror thriller or a horror book that I have to read according to the dates. So when read according to a date comes up, I have to ignore whatever the genre was. So it is the 24th of August. I could do 8/24 and go to shelf 8 and pick the 24th book. I could do 8 plus 24, which is 32, and just count 32 books. This is going to take some work, but I think that I'm going to get 24 books, have my husband put them into a pile, and then we'll count the 8th one down. And that is an interesting way to do this one. I'm not exactly sure what I meant when I made this one. I think it might have been shelf 8, book 24, but that's so boring. So I'm just gonna get together a bunch of books, some that I really want to read. Maybe I'll do a couple of the required reads for the month, some that maybe I'm not really in the mood for, and then I'll have my husband come in and either stack them or put them on like the empty shelf down there or something. And I don't know if I'm going to show you or not, but yeah, let me go do that. So hubby put the books down here next to my shoes. So I'm going to go down and I'm just going to count 8, and that's how we're going to do it because there's 24 books. It's the 24th of August when I'm filming this, so I'm going to count the 8th book for the 8th month or for August. I think I'm over explaining this, but I'm gonna start right here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No! I did not want to read Dracula. Okay, I'm afraid of classics. But it will help me on this spooky challenge with that Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy is doing, because one of the prompts is to read a book with vampires. Dracula is one of the OG vampires. He's not actually the first vampire though, just so that you know. Roll number 2 is a 6. I don't know if you can see it, but I promise it's a 6. There we go. Which is other. I don't like other because I don't actually have that many options. Oh, okay. So a cry-worthy other book. This was surprisingly difficult to find a book in the other category. So not romance, not thriller, not horror, not mystery, not literary fiction, not even classical fiction, which is one that I don't read very often. So I'm hoping. I don't know if this one will make me cry, but I think it might. I almost did the Midnight Library, but I think that that's kind of literary fiction. And technically I'm not supposed to pick a literary fiction. But I feel like I'm stretching it too much here. So, I will take... I don't want to take an extra turn. I will take an extra turn and find a different prompt, because I've been looking for a book, and like I could use nonfiction, but I don't really have any nonfiction that I think is gonna make me cry. I could stretch it and use historical fiction or classical fiction, but technically that there is a space for that, so that would be cheating. There's fantasy, but I really only have 4 fantasy books, and I don't think they'll make me cry. The Meg Schaefer might, but I don't think that it's like the cry-worthy book that I intended. So I guess we'll take 6 turns instead of 5, and I will go find a different prompt. Okay, this one says odd page number. That I could probably do. But it still has to be in the other category. Okay, as I was looking for an odd page number in a different category, I changed my mind. Because that space has always been super hard for me. So I think if I land on a 6, which is right now called the other space, it really is a free pick for any book that fits the prompt. So it can be any category, like any genre, because it's not fair. I literally have like 10 books in that space, for that space. And I get that I was trying to like read my TBR and everything, my physical books. I get why I invented that space, but I think it makes more sense to go with any genre that fits cry-worthy. So for cry-worthy, and we're only taking 5 turns, I'm going to read Dear Edward by Anne I can't say her last name. Nope. But this one follows this boy named Edward who gets in a plane crash. And he is the sole survivor. Roll 3 is a 5. Oh no. There you go. That is a wild card, which means it's a yellow card. That means someone else is picking it. Okay, it is a random number generator. Random number generator. Hey Ziggy, pick me a number between 1 and 14.
There's a number between 1 and 14. That's 2.
10. So that means I'm gonna go find shelf number 10, and I'm gonna have Ziggy pick a number between 1 and 20, and then I'll just pick that book because I think that my 10th shelf is gonna be on that tree thing, and I don't think there's more than like 10 on one, so I'll just do 1 to 20 to be safe. Hey Ziggy. Hey Ziggy. Hey Ziggy. Pick a number between 1 and 20.
There's a number between 1 and 20. It's 14.
14. Okay, shelf 10, book 14. Let's go find it. Alright, so this is shelf 10. Let me see if I can move it. There's only 4 books there. So 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. Oh no. I barely started this book. I didn't really like the writing. So I'm going to tell you right now, this one might be a DNF and it might be unhauled. It's The House of Brides by Jane Cockrum. I think I got it because it's an ARC. And I thought it was a thriller. I don't know for sure. But I have read the first, like, when I say that I started it, I literally just barely started it, like 20 pages. I didn't like the writing, so I'm going to try it again. But, yeah. Ooh, okay. Roll number 4. Roll 4 is a 3, which is a romance with an odd number of pages. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez has 361 pages, which is an odd number. So I finally got one of the books that I needed on this TBR. Let's go to our final roll. Last roll. Never mind, we have another roll because I got romance and I was already on the romance space. So we have an extra roll after I pick a small book for this. I almost had to pick another extra book because I couldn't find any small romance books. I'm definitely I like the slow simmer of a slow burn. So I don't have any books. So I think when I first made small book, it was initially supposed to be under 250 pages. I do not have any romance books on my shelves that are under 250 pages. So I'm gonna go with Body Check by Elle Kennedy. This is under 300 pages, and that's just gonna have to do. It's like 284 pages. It's a hockey romance. It's also my last chance with Elle Kennedy. I have really hated some of her stuff. Have I liked any of her books? I don't think I've liked a single book by her, so I don't know why I got another hockey romance by Elle Kennedy if I haven't ever liked any of her books. I love her writing, but I just don't end up liking the characters or the setting or just the book as a whole. So like, this is my last chance with Elle Kennedy. Let's go to my last roll. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, because this is 5 and I have to take one extra turn. So let's go to what I hope is my last roll. Alright, last roll is a mystery that is a priority read. Any of the horror novels that I wanted to get on this TBR, but for mystery that is a priority read, I am 90% sure that I put this book on my 24 books to read in 2024, and I haven't ever thought about it. So let's go with Where the Truth Lies by Anna Bailey. This follows Abigail Blake, who goes missing. So she is a missing person. This is the mystery of what happened to her. And I've been avoiding this book because I think it might, like, it's small town, which I love, but I think it might read more like a young adult novel, which I don't love. So let me get all the books together that I need to read, and then maybe I'll give you a couple of ideas for the spooky seasonal reading challenge from Cassidy that I would like to get on my TBR. I'm not going to go through all of my books for that because then you won't have to go see my TBR video. There are 22 books on that TBR video, I think, so I'll probably mention a couple that I would like to get around to. This is my TBR for the month of September. I would also like to get a couple other spooky reads in because this is very romance heavy. I didn't want romance books. I wanted more like thriller, horror, spooky, scary, creepy times. But I guess that is not in the cards. So for a TBR knockout, I have Breathers by S.G. Brown. I really need to get that back to my brother-in-law anyway. For a mystery that is a priority read, I have Where the Truth Lies by Anna Bailey. For a romance that's supposed to be a small book, I got Body Check by L. Kennedy. For the read-along that's happening on BookTube and for a romance with an odd page number, I have The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez, which is a reread. Then for other that's read according to the dates, my husband helped me kind of pick Dracula. I mean, I picked it, but he did all the legwork of setting up the books. Then for TBR Knockout, I have The Fiance Dilemma by Elena Armas for like leaves on the cover. And then for a random number picks my book, I have The House of Brides by Jean Cockrum. Then for a cry-worthy book for any genre, we have Dear Edward by Anne. I forgot to tell you what books I would like to read in the month of September for the spooky seasonal reading challenge that Cassidy is doing over on her channel, Covers with Cassidy. So my little sneak peek into my TBR for that is going to be this beautiful edition of Stephen King. Oh, look at that bucket of blood. I have already read Carrie, so that is not on my TBR. It's already finished. But I do need to read The Shining and Salem's Lot this year because they are both on my 24 books to read in 2024. And I'm running out of time. And I need to read them. So I just am putting this bind up of The Shining and Salem's Lot on my spooky seasonal reading challenge, TBR. There are some of the books that I would like on my TBR for September. I'm kind of scared because knowing me, I'm going to prioritize the spooky, scary reading challenge over my actual TBR, and then next month I will not pass my TBR like I did this month. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.